So, if there's anyone out there who's always really wonders themselves, what would I Love Lucy have been like if it had been in color, had good quality sound, and F words? Then this is the movie for you. Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm new here on YouTube, so please consider supporting my channel by subscribing, leaving a comment, and a like. But without any further ado, let's talk about Being the Ricardos. Ricardos is an Aaron Sorkin film. It stars Nicole Kidman, Javier Bardem, J.K. Simmons, and Nina Arianda. I think I pronounced her name right. And it's a biopic, and it tells a story, rather Aaron Sorkinized, of course, about Lucille Ball when she was making I Love Lucy, her relationship with Desi Arnaz, her pregnancy when she's filming the series, when they thought that she might have been a communist, and it's the conflict between Vivian Vance and William Frawley, and it's all kind of just in this movie crammed into about a week. So I'm just gonna try to do my best to review it because I will not lie, I did like this movie, but on the other hand, I had some problems with it. For one thing, I grew up watching I Love Lucy, so I'm someone with like encyclopedic knowledge about it. And there are things in here that they got wrong that I didn't really care for and I didn't like. But let's just talk about the movie. The script in this movie, I can't complain about. Excellent dialogue, well written script, and it's very aware of what it is. I will give it that. It is aware that it is sort of this Aaron Sorkin vision of how events actually played out. But that isn't to say it's not correct. A lot of the stuff in this movie is correct what actually happened. Like, for instance, they have the whole thing about Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball's relationship was kind of not always the greatest, and they capture that, I think, really well. But those two, even though they didn't quite get along, did also end up on speaking terms, and they still sort of care for each other, and they honestly respect each other's work, and they capture that in the movie very well. Also, the performances are excellent. My favorite is J.K. Simmons in here. I think he does a phenomenal job playing both William Frawley and Fred Mertz, because Fred Mertz is the character William Frawley played in the show, in case you haven't seen it. Lucille Ball, portrayed by Nicole Kidman. This is the best Nicole Kidman performance I've seen since Big Little Lies. This is fantastic. You can just tell everybody here is honestly trying. They are giving their best effort in this movie. And it's a beautiful looking movie, too. It is shot pristine. They filmed this movie with, like, perfectionist eye. It is really well done. Javier Bardem as Desi Arnaz is, to me, one of the problems. Only because I don't feel he's Desi Arnaz. He doesn't remind me of Desi Arnaz necessarily. He doesn't quite act like Desi Arnaz. He doesn't quite have that character that he had. It just doesn't quite feel right to me. I don't know. It was okay. He does a good job, though. I mean, his performance is great. It's a good performance. Don't get me wrong. He plays Desi Arnaz with passion. It is a really good, solid performance. Just, it felt a lot like they had cast an actor to play the role. And that's with a lot of characters in these movies. A lot of characters in this movie seem like they're actors playing a role if you know how the person who they're portraying acts in real life. Arianda is playing Vivian Vance, and I think she does a really good job with that. And the conflict that they have going on between William Frawley and Vivian Vance, which actually was real in real life. Those two hated each other very much. They were actually offered an Ethel and Fred spinoff and wouldn't do it because they hated each other at that point. It is perfectly performed here, perfectly written, is perfectly shown and encapsulated. I think they did a great job with that. This movie, though, is entertaining, and it will keep your attention. I sat there, and I enjoyed myself, and I liked hearing the dialogue, and I liked seeing the behind the scenes, so to speak, of how this show came to life, and how the network was so petty about things, and how they didn't want Lucille Ball to have like this combination. They thought, she's fine. They're like, let her make it. She's a woman, and it'll flop, and we won't have to worry about it anymore. And that's sad, but you can see how she paved the way for so much now. Lucille Ball is a legend. She really did a lot. And how her show, even after it came on and it was the top show, they still treated it as if it wasn't necessarily the best show, But she persevered, and she wouldn't let anything go past her. She didn't tolerate any BS, and I love that about this. And you could see Lucille Ball, she's a funny comedian. She was brilliant. She was intelligent. She was also strong. And she knew what she had to do. She wouldn't let push him around. Like, they have a problem because they're like, you have a husband, he's, from Cuba, and he's mixed marriage. She was like, I don't care. I want this anyway. This is what we're going to do. For instance, when they wanted to write in the thing that she was pregnant, because she was pregnant in real life, they're like, oh, we can't do that because, people are all going to wonder, how is that baby created? That's too suggestive. It's a really good job, and it does reflect how things were back in that time, and I like that. It showed how the Red Scare was affecting people, and how people were being blacklisted and their careers were being ruined because you were a communist, so to speak. And it's really well done in this film. There are weaknesses, though. It goes a little too far, like to prove Lucy is not a communist. They have like J. Edgar Hoover is called, and it's just that didn't happen in real life, and it gets a little over the top. Some of the drama feels like you can tell it's been turned up. It's Aaron Sorkin film. It's gonna be like this. It's really over the top style, but it's fun because of that reason. Like, even though it's not accurate, it's something that's very entertaining to watch. And like Ricky, when he makes a speech, there's this famous speech that Desi Arnaz made before an episode of the show, explaining why Lucille Ball was not a communist, and they completely changed it. And it kind of, to me, was like he could have kept at least part of it. That was a little disappointing. Also, the episode order is really bad here. Like, they have them filming episodes that don't get filmed at this time. They have events happening that didn't happen at that time when the show was running. So it's a little off. Like, it doesn't quite match. And I'm kind of surprised this got past so many people that they were making this mistake, unless it's intentional. And he was just kind of like, I'm going to do my own thing. But, nevertheless, I mean, it's good. I'd say it's a fun watch. I'd recommend it to watch. I mean, you have Javier Bardem is singing Babalu in here. If there's no other reason you're going to watch this movie, watch it for that. Just do it. Also, I feel that this movie did a really good job, as a strong point, of conveying the work that had to go into a television program back then, and how much of a demand you were under to put these things out. Because people think of Hollywood as this very magical thing where movies just exist and they're just made. There's a lot of work and stress and arguments that go on to make these things that we sometimes use as disposable entertainment, and we just don't care. This really showed how tough becoming successful can be in Hollywood. I'd recommend this movie. I'm going to give it 7 out of 10. It's worth your watch. Go see it. If you don't want to see it now, it's going to be on Amazon Prime, I think on December the 21st. Watch it then. Thank you so much, as always, for watching, and I will see you next time.